Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney Kroll. I am the Study Abroad Manager at UW-Tacoma, and I'm going to be joined today by my colleague Cindy Scharschmidt, the Director of Student Fellowships and Study Abroad in the Office of Global Affairs at UW-Tacoma. So, as a refresher, the Office of Global Affairs supports study abroad, international student and scholar services, student fellowships, international partnerships, faculty support, and on-campus global learning. You will be seeing a different presentation from the International Student and Scholar Services. So today we're mostly going to focus on study abroad, student fellowships, and on-campus global learning. Let's dive into study abroad. So any UW-Tacoma student in good academic standing may participate in the study abroad program. Good academic standing means a 2.0 or higher. Students can participate in programs that vary in credits, lengths of time, cost, location, etc. Generally, UW-Tacoma students participate in programs that are about 4 weeks long, and the traditional time in which they participate is over the summer, but obviously they can choose any quarter that they want to study abroad. They can choose between UW Seattle, Bothell, or Tacoma programs. They don't have to just look at the programs on our website. They're welcome to choose between the over 500 Seattle and Bothell programs that are offered in 72 different countries. We offer lots of info sessions to help students prepare for their study abroad, fund, and apply for scholarships. And students that are interested in studying abroad can visit us during our virtual drop-in hours or make an appointment with me at any time. So I wanted to share some exciting data with you all about study abroad. 56% of study abroad participants from 2018-19 identified as first gen. And during the same year, 41% of students who studied abroad were seniors. This is really important because this is very different from national data. National trends show that most students who study abroad are sophomores and juniors, which would be discouraging as a transfer student coming into UW-T. But luckily, that is not the case. So like I said, 41% of students who studied abroad in 18-19 were seniors. I see that it says 2018-29. That's wrong. Sorry, 2019 is what it should say. And of those students who studied abroad during their senior year, a lot of them chose to study abroad during the summer that they actually graduated. So what happened was they walked at graduation in June, they got a fake diploma, they studied abroad the summer of their senior year, and then as long as they got, appropriate grades and passed their courses, they received their diploma at the end of summer. So again, really exciting stuff, especially for those students who are transfer students and are worried about fitting study abroad in. Typically, over 50% of study abroad participants at UW-Tacoma are eligible for financial aid, and 55% of students who participated in 2018-19 were transfer students. So I wanted to highlight one student who our office has worked with closely, Tritzi Valdivia. She was a business admin major and graduated just this past June in 2020. And she participated in 2 study abroad programs, one in fall 2019, where she spent about 2 weeks in the Netherlands studying social responsibility initiatives that compared ports of Washington and ports in the Netherlands. And then she chose to study abroad again in the Gambia during winter 2020. This program was an internship program in which students were partnered with local organizations that were worked in conjunction with the YMCA in the Gambia, and they spent about 9 weeks abroad in the Gambia over winter quarter working at those internships. And Trinitzi was awarded the OGA Study Abroad Scholarship for her first study abroad experience. And for more information about her, you can watch her testimonial video on our YouTube channel. She talks a lot about the struggles that she faced and sort of apprehensions that she had to overcome and why study abroad was so impactful for her. So take a look when you have some time. So as you start talking with students about study abroad, I imagine COVID and the pandemic will be present in their minds as it is for all of us. So some things to consider. Unfortunately, lots of our programming for spring, summer, and autumn 2020 has been canceled due to COVID-19, but Any program cancellation that is due to COVID-19 results in a full refund for all students. So none of the students had to pay anything to UW-T because the program was canceled due to COVID-19. Another thing that I think students might be apprehensive about is, let's say they do plan to study abroad next spring or summer in 2021, and the pandemic resurfaces in the area where they're studying abroad, and they're worried about how they might get home or how they might get medical care. All students, all UW students, are required to get mandatory study abroad insurance. This is a requirement. They cannot study abroad without it, and that insurance covers things like medical bills in the country or costs of prescriptions, as well as flights, an emergency flight home to get evacuated out of the country you're in, if that was the situation the student was in. So this mandatory study abroad insurance can give students the peace of mind that studying abroad during this kind of strange time is still an option. And you can visit our FAQ page for more information about COVID-19 implications. And something else to remember is that new programs from spring 2021 to winter 2022 will be announced this October. So students can stay tuned for all of the new programming we're hoping to announce for that coming spring 2021 and winter 2022. I wanted to share a couple more things with everybody. We have some really great student spotlight pages on our website in which we highlight students and what they've gotten up to while they're abroad. What we really are trying to do here is show the UW community that their peers have participated, in study abroad opportunities. And so if you see someone that looks like you or has the same major as you, or maybe has the same responsibilities or financial challenges as you, and they've studied abroad, you think, maybe I can do this as well. So we have blogs from students that have participated in study abroad programming. We have those testimonial videos like I talked about before with the student that received the OGA study abroad scholarship. And we also have day in the life videos. There's one right here in which students record snippets of their day while they're abroad, and then we put them together to give a really interesting insight into what a typical day looks like for a student when they're studying abroad. We have bios about all the students who've received both scholarships from our office and national scholarships. And we also have study abroad alumni interviews. So this is a really great resource to show students, for them to get a better understanding of what study abroad is, who studies abroad at UW-T, etc. And then finally, we have a lot of other resources that I'd like to direct students to. Most importantly, looking at our Instagram and Facebook pages is a really great way for students to stay connected, learn about opportunities, scholarship application, deadlines, things like that. And then we have a YouTube channel with all of our informational videos on them. So at the beginning of this, I talked about how we offer info sessions that help students learn about like how to apply or scholarships they can apply for or how to get financial aid. And all of those videos are located on our YouTube channel. So students don't have to physically come in, which obviously they can't do right now anyways, but they can watch these videos at any time, from wherever they are. I would particularly suggest the Intro to Study Abroad video. It's just about 6 minutes long, and it really gives students an insight into what study abroad is, and it dispels a lot of misconceptions that are floating around campus about who can and can't study abroad, etc.
Another unit within the Office of Global Affairs is Student Fellowships. In that unit, we advise students on merit-based competitive scholarships that fund a variety of transformative opportunities. Because there are literally hundreds of fellowships out there, I've tried to group them into 4 categories to help both you and our students make sense of it all. You've likely heard me talk about this before, but the opportunities include research and scholarly work, including at the undergraduate level, international opportunities such as study abroad and language learning and teaching English abroad, maybe even pursuing graduate school in another country. And there's a third group of fellowships that fund social justice activism and public service. So for those of our students who are really aiming to make this world a better place, as cheesy as that might sound. And then there's funding for graduate school for some of the most promising scholars and students in the country. I wanted to share just a few examples of students and alumni who have really been remarkable individuals, and one of the ways that they are remarkable is that they've been selected for really competitive fellowships. The first example I wanted to share is Taylor Owens, who is a criminal justice student here at UW-Tacoma. She also is minoring in American Indian Studies. She was awarded a 2020 Udall scholarship, and she was just one of about 55 scholars that were selected across the entire country. So a pretty remarkable achievement. Taylor has been really active with her tribe. She's a descendant of the Squaxin tribe over on the Olympic Peninsula, and she's working in public health with the tribe at the moment, specifically on tobacco cessation, but she's been going above and beyond and helping to connect Native youth to opportunities post-high school. And that's one of the things that the Udall Scholarship is helping to recognize, is that the work that she's already been doing. She hopes to work on restorative justice in Native American communities because she realizes that the current approach to criminal justice often does not work, especially or including in Native American communities. So yeah, a pretty remarkable young woman who has already done great things, and I'm excited to see what else she might be doing in the future. And the Udall Scholarship funds students who are either committed to environmental justice or to tribal issues, which is the situation for Taylor. Another example is Saranda Ross, who graduated from UW-Tacoma with a communications degree in 2015. And since then, she's gone on to law school at the University of Washington up in Seattle. And she was recently awarded a Fulbright grant for field work on food insecurity in Brazil. She doesn't know yet if she'll actually be able to go to Brazil given COVID-19, but fingers crossed that she'll still be able to go. Saranda has done a variety of really amazing things in the community. She's a Tacoma native and currently a practicing attorney who plans to take some time to study issues around food insecurity in Brazil. And while she was a student at UW, she did receive funding to study Portuguese, and so her language skills are kind of where they need to be in order to conduct this kind of field work in Brazil. So yeah, as a reminder, we work with students and alumni on a variety of different fellowships, and we're always excited to help connect our amazing students to some of these opportunities that they may otherwise not think of or often don't think they're competitive for. And one of my main jobs, I think, is to help our students and alumni realize that yes, they are in fact competitive. In the interest of time, I've limited the examples here to just these two. If you're interested in more success stories, please feel free to reach out to us directly, and we can always share more and point you to resources on our website where we profile additional students and alumni. I also wanted to talk a little bit about two of our on-campus global learning opportunities, which are in place because we realize that a lot of our students aren't able to travel abroad, and that's not just because of COVID-19, but even prior to that, there's a variety of students who have commitments here in the Tacoma area that prevent them from participating in traditional study abroad programs. And because we realize that, we've worked over the last years really hard to create additional opportunities for students to engage in global learning right here in Tacoma or at UW-Tacoma. The first example is our COIL Fellows Program, which stands for Collaborative Online International Learning. And it's a pedagogical approach that connects faculty and their classes in 2 or sometimes more countries. And the students in those classes typically collaborate on projects using technology. And it's really a way for students to work in multinational and multicultural teams without having to travel, really, which is kind of a cool way to do this work. Here's a map of all of the places around the world where our faculty have partnered with faculty at other universities, and you'll see we have some pretty decent representation all over the world. And just to highlight a couple of examples, we've had a pretty successful collaboration between Dr. Alan Moore here at UW-Tacoma and 2 universities in Vietnam that looked at plastics, pollution, and water. And the students did one real-time session with the entire class, and then were paired into smaller groups to work on projects that were related to the topic, so plastics, pollution, and water. Students learned how to turn plastic bottles into bird feeders or to turn plastic bags into reusable grocery bags. Pretty remarkable work. And another example would be Dr. Weichao Yuan in our School of Nursing and Healthcare Leadership partnered with a university in China, actually right during the COVID-19 pandemic, to better understand how students both in China and here in Tacoma or UW-Tacoma were experiencing COVID-19 and making sense of the pandemic. So yeah, lots of really creative ways to engage our students in global learning that, again, don't require travel, and that can happen even while international travel is pretty much halted during COVID-19. And another type of global learning experience that happens right here on campus are our informal language lessons. As you're probably aware, UW-Tacoma only offers Spanish and Mandarin Chinese for credit, but we see that our students are interested in languages beyond those. And so we received funding initially from the Strategic Initiative Fund and now from SAFC to offer these informal language lessons in currently Arabic and Japanese that are facilitated by our trained student workers who are native or near native language speakers. The lessons usually meet twice a week, and it's really an opportunity to be introduced to a language that students can't otherwise learn on campus. And it's really meant to be informal and an opportunity to learn both the language and to be introduced to the culture as well. So again, another opportunity for students to engage in global learning without the need for travel.
Okay. And now I want to introduce y'all to our Global Ambassadors program. And I'm gonna play this video that our Global Ambassadors coordinator, Jordan Williams, created to talk more about the program and why we hope lots of students get involved this year.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to a short presentation on the Global Ambassadors program, affiliated with the Office of Global Affairs from the University of Washington, Tacoma. Who am I? My name is Jordan Williams, and I am the Global Ambassador Coordinator for the 2020-2021 academic year. The mission of the Global Ambassadors program is to seek to create globally minded members from the standpoint of cultural humility through sincere connections between our local and global communities, to have conversations about issues that we see both locally and globally. The objectives of the program are to develop cultural humility, identify unknown commonalities, reflect on inherent biases, encouraging members to dig deeper and to take action and learn that they can take action, building diverse and meaningful friendships, and developing effective communication strategies that will be helpful for them in the future, particularly through our meetings. Each meeting has a particular structure. We start with an icebreaker to start conversation. We then break into cohort-based discussion. Every meeting covers a different topic. We invite guest speakers in who are experienced with the discussion topics and offer us new perspectives. And then we reflect on the topic to see what we've learned and how we can take this into our day-to-day lives. In addition, we have social events to help build the community through food events, sports, holiday gatherings, and this year, volunteering. Community-based discussions have been in the past topics such as cultural humility, where we invite the Office of Global Affairs, which is a yearly presentation and is always first. We invited Hilltop Urban Gardens to come and speak with us on food insecurity and injustice worldwide. We spoke on LGBTQIA, where we invited the Rainbow House from just down the hill from the University of Washington Tacoma campus. We discussed international law, both with the Brazilian law international students visiting, talking about intersectionalities and differences between Brazilian law. We also invited Dr. Alan Taylor talking about international pharmaceutical law. And then our last topic that we discussed was disability and accessibility resources for students, which was a topic that was actually canceled due to COVID-19. We then discussed intersectionality, which was a topic that we did completely online in the program later that year over Zoom. So what do we actually do? In our social situations, you can see the Brazilian international law students here and a couple of the program members, including myself. The student quote on the left kind of says it all. I feel that we had some interesting ideas on how to get more involved in the community and make what we learned here relevant. And it's really that relevancy that's really a big part of the program. Taking what we've learned in the classroom and translating it into a bigger scale, into a global scale or into a local scale. Here is an example of our holiday gift and cultural exchange last winter, our lunch and discussion with some of the Brazilian international students and quite a few of the, almost all of the members of the Global Ambassadors Program. You can't see a couple of them because they're hiding off out of the side of the picture. The escape room, where we all went and collaborated to get out of the escape room, and then the farmer's market on the right when we were talking about Hilltop Urban Garden. And a student quote again, I felt like I was not very knowledgeable about food insecurity to start, but learned a lot and hope to learn more. It's the progress of the members that we're really hoping to showcase. And we're really discussing them as members and not as students, members, to really foster that feeling of belonging. And we made connections together to really see how in a web, we really are connected. This was orientation of last year. If you're hoping to learn more, then I can give you in a short little elevator pitch. Please visit the University of Washington Tacoma website, Office of Global Affairs, the Global Ambassadors Program. The link is right there. The application to apply is also in that same location, and you can find more information there. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation about the Global Ambassadors Program at the University of Washington Tacoma.
Okay, and with that, we'd love for y'all to reach out to us if you have any questions. So please feel free to do that, and we hope that this presentation was informative and enjoyable. Thanks, everyone.